Hey there Kingdom Hearts fans, it's your boy HMK and I'm here to answer a question that has been in a lot of y'all's minds about Kingdom Hearts Melody and Memory, and that is, how do you exactly play the game? Well, I'm able to let you know how exactly to play Melody and Memory thanks to some extended hands-on experience I've had with the demo. I've had for quite a bit now, big thanks to my friends over at Square Enix for providing me with an early access to the demo. I've got a ton of videos in store thanks to this, but let's go over the main objective of the question that everybody's asking. How do you play the game? How are the buttons mapped and how does it feel? Well, I can tell you right now that I actually have a lot of fun with the game, but let's get into it. Now, as the demo that was provided to me is on PlayStation 4, and for the air of familiarity for Kingdom Hearts fans, I'm gonna go over the PlayStation specific button mapping. But first, to get you guys up to speed, let's go over the objective quickly. In Melody and Memory, you control Sora and friends as they travel on rails and must attack and complete objectives to the beat of very familiar Kingdom Hearts music over a beautiful splash drop of familiar locations. Now, just because Sora travels on rails on his own, that doesn't mean you lose all control over the character. In fact, you can actually jump and glide whenever you want to. And all things considered, when it comes to the PlayStation 4 button mapping, it does play like a Kingdom Hearts game kind of. When you roll up to an enemy or an objective that you have to strike, you press X to attack the enemy when the overlaying circle comes to the closest of the enemy circle when you run up on them. Along with that, what's really interesting is that the attack function isn't only mapped to X, it's also mapped to L1 and R1. You can use any of these buttons to strike an enemy, and what I mean is that X, R1, and L1 isn't really specifically tied to Sora, Donald, or Goofy. And when you run up on two enemies that need to get hit at the same time, you can use any combination of these three buttons. And of course, when you run up on three enemies that need to get hit, then you press all three at the same time. Like I said before, it doesn't matter when you have one or two enemies that need to get hit at the same time. You can use any combination of one or two buttons, whether it be X, L1, or R1. Do whatever feels comfortable to you. Furthermore, there are going to be enemies and objectives that will be in the air that requires you to jump. And like I said before, Sora can use the circle button to jump and glide whenever he wants to during the song. In fact, there are going to be specific enemy projectiles that you're going to have to dodge by jumping. Lastly, you can hit triangle on the special attack crystals in order to unleash a special attack, a spell, or a limit. And of course, all of this must be done according to the beat and the rhythm of the song that you're playing. It's a pretty cool experience that is very familiar for those who have played Kingdom Hearts games. It may feel or seem overwhelming at first, especially when there's a lot of stuff on screen, but don't worry, there are a multitude of options that allow you to play the game that you want. But wait, there is more when it comes to the additional buttons and directions and mapping when it comes to Melody and Memory, but we'll get to that in a very little bit. But first, I gotta explain that health bar a little bit. That health is dependent on missed enemies when you play through a song. If you miss the timing on hitting an enemy, they're gonna strike you back and take your health. And you're gonna have to clear the objective, get to the end of the song before your health reaches 0. Sure, that doesn't seem like too big of a deal, but I can tell you right now, on certain difficulties, you're gonna see that end screen a lot. And your score, if you live to the end, is dependent on how well you fought to the rhythm, your timing, your chains, your combos, and of course, how many enemies you were able to hit. It gives you a rank mapped to the difficulty that you played the song in and grants you XP on how well you did. Now, this part is actually really important when it comes to the overall modes and additional buttons that Melody and Memory can provide. The game starts out with the 3 standard difficulty settings found in Kingdom Hearts: Beginner, Standard, and Proud. And now, before you say, what, no critical? Whew, I don't think this game needs critical, guys. The reason why I say that is because Proud on its own is pretty challenging when it comes to Melody and Memory. But not only do we have difficulty, we have 3 different styles that help transform these difficulty settings in order to give more modes of play, which includes Basic, 1 button, and Performer. Basic is pretty much how the game is supposed to be played on any type of difficulty, right? And 1 button, don't sandbag it, because even though it seems like it's easy, it's actually still pretty difficult if you decide to map it to Proud mode. 1 button Proud is actually a really good way to get the feel of certain songs that allows you to play the song with 1 button, so you can get the good feel of the rhythm, the beat, the timing that you need before you decide to add the rest of the buttons. Now finally, the deal with Performer. Performer actually allows you to have more buttons mapped to any difficulty setting that you choose. These are known as performer actions that add L2, R2, square, and directional presses in order for you to get more score, even more points to certain difficulties and songs. Missing these performer actions won't take away from your score, but will give you a chance to get even more score. While basic and 1 button adds 2 layers of extra score keeping when it comes to each song and difficulty, performer is mapped to basic as well. With these combinations, it allows you to get up to 5 different scores on each particular song in melody and memory. I'm gonna be playing this game a lot. So with all things considered, if you decide to put on proud mode with performer style, I hope you're up to stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how you play Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I hope you learned something. If so, be sure to share the video with your friends and get ready, the demo is now out. So give it a shot for yourselves. It's free, and be sure to use these tips and tricks that you learned from this video. Once again, big thanks to my friends at Square Enix for providing me with an early access to the demo. And big thanks to my Patreon supporters for helping making this video happen. If you want to find out how you can support HMK for just $1 a month, check out my Patreon info in the description box below. Alright guys, until the next Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory video, this has been HMK, and I'll check you guys later.
So you haven't subscribed to HMK yet? Don't piss Xemnas off.